So today we'll talk about lipoprotein transport and metabolism. So what does lipoprotein means? Lipo, as you can see, the name is that lipo means lipid, lipid, and then protein means protein. So lipoprotein is a type of, you can call a composite of molecular structure, you can say. So it contains lipid and protein. Why lipoprotein? Because lipid is insoluble in water, and our whole body is made up of water. Blood is made up of water. Blood transport every nutrients from one tissue to other tissue, and in that circumstances what happens is this insoluble lipid will be carried on this protein raft. Okay, on this insoluble lipid will be carried on this protein raft, and after carrying on this protein raft it will be transferred from one tissue to other tissue. It is transported from one tissue to other tissue. In the due course of transportation, this lipoprotein, this lipid carrying raft will undergo metabolism. Some, like some lipid will come out of this raft, some will be loaded on this raft. This type of unloading and loading mechanism is called metabolism. Metabolism here nothing but unloading and loading of lipid on this raft. If you can imagine, if you put this context into your imagination, this is a protein, this is protein part of lipoprotein, and these are the lipids. So this whole component is lipoprotein. If you imagine, if you can understand this analogy, then you can understand this lipoprotein metabolism very easily. Now let's talk first about this lipoprotein composition and types of apoprotein. So you can see lipoprotein, this is protein part, and protein part, this is a raft part of protein, and this will carry lipid, and lipid will, you can see this phospholipid, it is a part of this phospholipid. It is soluble in water. This is like this. This is not two-dimensional. Remember, this is like this. So this is protein part. Now this sphere will be formed by the surrounded, this sphere. This phospholipid will act like a tent, like a cover on this raft, and this is soluble in water. That is why it will form a cover, and inside this raft, inside that cover, there is hydrophobic lipid. These triglycerides, these are not soluble in water, and these all insoluble lipids, they will be placed inside the core of this lipid lipoprotein. Did you understand? So the outer surface will be occupied by hydrophilic agent, that will be soluble in water, but interior part will be occupied by hydrophobic lipid. This hydrophobic lipid, you can see these triglycerides are hydrophobic. This cholesterol ester, not cholesterol as such. Cholesterol, you can see cholesterol is present on the membrane. Basically cholesterol is an amphipathic lipid. Amphipathic lipid, just remember cholesterol, because cholesterol has one hydroxyl group here, hydroxyl group somewhere here, and that makes this cholesterol that makes cholesterol amphipathic. We have also talked presence of cholesterol in lipid membrane, phospholipid membrane. So you can see cholesterol is amphipathic molecule, but cholesterol ester, with this cholesterol you can see a big fatty acid, chunk of fatty acid is attached here. So this is cholesterol ester. So cholesterol ester is hydrophobic. Cholesterol ester plus triglyceride, these two components are hydrophobic. These are placed in the at the core of this lipoprotein, and this lipoprotein, the surface of this lipoprotein will be occupied by this phospholipid, and this is protein. Did you understand the structure of this lipoprotein? Be quick, please. Be quick. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So this is lipoprotein. Okay. Now this lipoprotein, in this lipoprotein, there are many types of protein. These proteins are called integral protein and called peripheral protein. We can divide protein into two parts first. integral protein. The integral protein are the protein that will make the raft, the main component of this lipoprotein. This is called integral protein. This integral protein cannot be separated from this lipoprotein. But there are other types of protein called peripheral protein. Peripheral protein can be separated from this lipoprotein easily. And this protein part, integral protein part of two types. The protein A and B are integral protein. A and B are integral protein. And other C, E, these two protein are peripheral protein. You can see there is no D. A, B, C, and E. A, B are integral protein. So this, you can see this is integral protein. These are peripheral protein. This is E and this is C2. So remember C2 only. For the time being, remember C2 and E. E and C2. So these are peripheral protein. This can be detached easily. Now you have known the types of protein and you have known the types of, you have known the lipoprotein structure. So now let's talk about what is the function of these proteins. The function of these proteins are manifold. First function is, you can, as you can say, this makes a structure, a structural part of this lipoprotein. Now second, other functions are, there are mainly threefold functions. First function, you can see the structural part. Second function, you can see this also forms a part of coenzyme. It is a coenzyme also. It also functions as coenzyme. This apoprotein function as coenzyme. You can see this C2. C2 is part of coenzyme of lipoprotein lipase. Now, how will you remember this C and 2? Just separate this 2 into L and L. And this lipoprotein lipase. So C2 is part of lipoprotein lipase. How would you remember this ACAT? So this A1 is coenzyme for ALCAT enzyme. Just remember for the time being. We will talk in detail about this. So A1 is part of ALCAT. ALCAT means, just remember ALCAT, lecithin cholesterol ester transferase, the full form. So at least remember short form, ALCAT, ALCAT. So A is there in ALCAT. You don't find this A here like this. So ALCAT has this A. That is why A1 is coenzyme or cofactor for ALCAT, and C2 is cofactor for lipoprotein lipase. You have to only remember this two. So this protein are functioning as this is integral protein, this is peripheral protein. So these proteins function as, two protein function as cofactor of this enzyme. Now this protein can also function as ligand. So see, this is remember, this is a boat. So boat has to dock somewhere. So it comes out of somewhere and it has to dock somewhere. So this protein, this is called apoprotein. The protein itself, the single protein, separate protein is called apoprotein. Okay, remember the terminology. The separate protein is called apoprotein. Protein, this is called apoprotein. The protein without lipid is called apoprotein. Protein plus lipid is called lipoprotein. Now this apoprotein, protein part of this lipid, will function as what? This as function as this ligand for these receptors. It will help in docking of this lipoprotein. ApoB100. So you can see here ApoB. B is of two types, B100 and B48. So ApoB100 will bind with LDL receptor. So we will talk in detail about this LDL. What is LDL receptor? ApoE. ApoE will bind with LDL remnant receptor, LRP, and ApoA1 binds with HDL receptor. So these are very, very important terminology. You have to memorize this. ApoB, B100 with LDL receptor, ApoE with LRP, and ApoA1 with HDL receptor. So these are the function of this apoprotein part of this lipoprotein. Apoprotein part of lipoprotein. And you have known how many types of proteins are there. So these are the proteins, and then what are the function of these proteins, and how this protein and lipid assemble to form lipoprotein. We done this in this slide. Now let's see this. So there are, you have seen this B100 and B48. There are two types of B. So we have seen lipoprotein A, B, C and E, not D. A, B, C and E. So in that A, B, C, B is of two types, B100 and B48. Now just see this B100 and B48, this both protein are derived from same gene. Okay, this both protein are derived in same gene, but you can say this B48 is part of intestine. It is B48, it is produced in intestine, and B100 is produced in liver. Remember the organ, B48 in intestine and B100 in liver. So this two protein are synthesized because of RNA editing. What is RNA? This is very important concept. What is RNA editing? What happens is the same big chunk of mRNA is synthesized from a protein, from gene apogene. What happens? The mRNA is synthesized, but in intestine, what happens is in a codon that lie at the center of this whole mRNA. This codon has CAA at the center. This CAA will be converted into U, and you know this C after this deamination, removal of amine, it will convert into cytosine, will convert into uridine. So uridine, if it converts into U, so this CAA becomes UAA here. You know this UAA is a stop codon. So protein synthesis begins but stop here, and that is why the B48 is a truncated protein that is produced in intestine, and it is because of RNA editing in mRNA. This is because of product of RNA editing in mRNA. Remember, this is very important. So B48 is basically 48% of this 100% protein. You can remember this B48 is 48% of this B100 protein. This whole protein is about 4,000 amino acid is there, but this has about 2,000 amino acid only. So half of this protein is produced in intestine, and this is B48. Did you understand B48 and B100?
Yes, sir.
So B48 is nothing but product of same gene because of RNA editing in intestine. So remember the organ also. So because this enzyme, RNA editing enzyme is present in intestine, that is why this RNA editing happens in intestine only. This RNA editing enzyme is not present in liver, that is why this RNA editing does not happen in liver. This is very simple. Now this B100 is part of a very important lipoprotein. We will talk about this. This is called, for the time being, just remember the name of lipoprotein, VLDL. This B4800 is B100 is part of this very low density lipoprotein, VLDL. This is called very low density lipoprotein. Now B48 is part of chylomicron. Just remember, chylomicron means B48. This is integral part of, this is raft of this chylomicron. This is B48 is raft of chylomicron. B100 is raft of VLDL. So now we will talk about this lipoprotein classification after this slide. So you can see this lipoprotein, many lipoproteins are there. Can you see lipoproteins? So lipoproteins are chylomicron, and then lipoproteins here you can see VLDL. What does VLDL means? I have not written anywhere the full form. Just remember, VLDL means very low density lipoprotein. VLDL. So LDL means you remove it is low density lipoprotein. IDL means intermediate density lipoprotein, and this is HDL means high density lipoprotein, high density. So you can see everywhere density. So D for density, everywhere D for density, V for very low density lipoprotein, IDL means intermediate density lipoprotein, LDL means low density lipoprotein, HDL means high density lipoprotein. So what makes this lipoprotein more dense? So it is protein that makes this lipoprotein dense, and it is lipid that makes this protein very less dense. So because lipid is light, it is not soluble in water. That is why if lipid composition is more in this lipoprotein, what will happen? If lipid composition is more, it will become light, less dense. So Among all this lipoprotein, chylomicron is the least dense. You can see this is the least dense. If you centrifuge, this is based on ultracentrifugation. This classification is based on ultracentrifugation. You know what is centrifugation? Take a small test tube, add blood inside, and then rotate that test tube in a very high speed, and this is called ultracentrifugation. Then what will happen? This lipoprotein will separate, and this highest density lipoprotein will occupy at the bottom of this test tube. Just imagine this is a test tube, and HDL will occupy at the bottom position. This chylomicron will occupy the top position in that test tube, and this VLDL will occupy the position down to the chylomicron, and IDL will occupy the position down to the VLDL, and LDL will occupy the position down to the LDL but above HDL. So this is the actually classification based on ultracentrifugation, that is based on density of lipid, because more density, more bottom position, less density, less bottom position, so top position. So chylomicron will occupy at the top position, and VLDL, you can see this is how the position will be occupied. Now I have told you the main integral protein of VLDL is, you already know, I have told you this B100. Main integral protein of VLDL is B100. Just I have made it ready. You have to remember these two only. So these two are the metabolite of this. So let's see this. Chylomicron is B48 and this VLDL is B100. Now IDL is made by the metabolism. If VLDL is metabolized, it will form IDL. If IDL is metabolized, it will form LDL. So that is why you can see in all of these IDL and LDL B100. You can see B100, B100. So VLDL, IDL, LDL, the main raft part of this lipoprotein is B100. Here in chylomicron and chylomicron remnant, as name suggests remnant, because of its catabolism. So you can see B48, B48. Now this third category of protein, this is second category, this is third category of lipoprotein called HDL, high density lipoprotein. Now this high density lipoprotein is also made from this is HDL1 catabolism will lead to HDL2, HDL2 catabolism will lead to HDL3, and then catabolism of HDL3 will lead to pre-beta HDL. So you can see all of these have A, HDL has A1. This is integral protein here. This is integral protein of this VLDL. This is integral protein of chylomicron. Now other are peripheral protein. So I have marked this integral protein in purple color. You can see other protein. So when chylomicron will convert into chylomicron remnant, it will shed apoprotein C2. You can see it will shed apoprotein E2, C2. And that is how it becomes chylomicron. Now let's see this about this VLDL to IDL. IDL, when VLDL becomes IDL, it shed C2. When again this IDL becomes LDL, it sheds E, apoprotein E. So now because these are peripheral protein can be easily shaded. So it can be easily removed from the protein. And but this is integral protein will retain always. So this you can see, this is the protein composition of lipoprotein. You can see the protein composition of apoprotein. Chylomicron has B100 this, and this chylomicron remnant has B100E. This is the protein composition. You can see protein composition, protein composition of this three group of lipoprotein here. And now these are lipid composition. It is also very easy to understand. Now chylomicron, the lightest, has very high amount of chylomicron. This chylomicron has very high amount of triglyceride. The most top, which occupy the top position, has very high amount of triglyceride. As you go down, the triglyceride will reduce and cholesterol concentration will increase. Now you can see this chylomicron and chylomicron, even chylomicron has very high amount of triglyceride, very low amount of cholesterol and other. Now you can see VLDL also has very high amount of triglyceride. Now when this convert into this, so cholesterol will be accumulated little bit. So as the catabolism happens, so cholesterol will be accumulated. So this parent chylomicron and VLDL has very high amount of triglyceride. Now you can see HDL has cholesterol. So remember this lipid composition. Chylomicron and VLDL has very high amount of triglyceride. But chylomicron remnant, IDL and LDL, they have triglyceride and cholesterol, and HDL has cholesterol. So this is lipid composition. And among this HDL, if you can see HDL, so HDL, these are, if you go down, these are more muscular. So HDL3 is the most muscular. 3 means most muscular. Number 3 is given to most. That means it has got highest amount of protein than this 2, than 1. 1 has least amount of protein among this HDL only. This pre-beta HDL has highest amount of protein. So that is why this has most density. Now free fatty acid will be carried by albumin. Just remember, albumin carries free fatty acid. So you can see this density also as protein in, you can see protein content and density. Yet protein increases, density will increase. And you can see the lipid side, as lipid content increases, size increases. So this is how you can correlate. Density correlates with the protein and size correlates with the lipid content. More lipid, more size. More protein, more density. So did you understand this? You can see this picture. At least you can put this into imagination through this picture. More is the protein, more muscular will sink down. Okay, more muscular will sink down and more fat will float. Fat will float and muscle will sink. So that is how you can correlate all with this concept.
Excuse me, sir. Someone is in the waiting room.
So now, did you understand this? This is classification of lipoprotein. Now let's see this. So this classification sometimes we do through this electrophoresis also. So how do we do through this electrophoresis? We do electrophoresis, and in electrophoresis you can see. So muscular will move faster. So HDL is muscular. That is why it will move much faster. And then chylomicron is lipid content. That is why it will stay here only. But intermediate will be LDL and VLDL. In LDL and VLDL also you can see VLDL will be more faster. So this is given, HDL is given alpha position. So if I tell you alpha lipid, so you have to remember this is HDL. If I tell you beta lipid, you have to remember LDL and VLDL. And if I tell you the origin, chylomicron, it stays at the origin. Now you can see this electrophoresis is utilized to diagnose certain diseases. If you do electrophoresis, if you don't find this here, if you don't find any band here at beta position, this means LDL is deficient. This is a disorder where you will find this type of problem in A beta lipoproteinemia. Where is this beta lipoprotein is not there, this means called A beta lipoproteinemia. Now sometimes you will see the band is very broad along this. There is no separation between this beta and pre-beta band. Pre-beta are represented by VLDL. So there is no separation between this. This is called broad beta disease. This is a type 3 lipoproteinemia. Remember this two fact. A beta lipoproteinemia means no band is there. In beta region, no band are there. Broad beta means big band are there. There is no separation. So two very important clinical condition you can separate from this lipoprotein electrophoresis is A beta lipoproteinemia and broad beta disease. Now let's first talk about this. There are three types of. So did you understand till now? We have done, first we have done apoprotein. Okay, apoprotein. We did apoprotein. Then after apoprotein, we did apoprotein plus lipid. So we did first lipoprotein. What is lipoprotein? And function of this protein part of lipid, lipoprotein. And then we classified this lipoprotein. We did classification. And then we did electrophoresis. How electrophoresis? If we do electrophoresis, what bands do you get? Electrophoresis. Do you know what is electrophoresis? Tell me. In electrophoresis, you put a slide. On that slide, you add some agarose gel. And in negative side, in what protein are generally negative, and you add protein here and allow that protein to move. If protein will move under electrical influence. So this movement of protein, this negatively charged, more protein containing lipoprotein will move much faster. You can see HDL moving very fast, and then other least protein containing will move slow. So this is lipoprotein. It is very easy to remember. Only 3 groups are there. One is alpha, beta, and origin. So beta is VLDL, LDL, and VLDL. VLDL is above this, ahead of this LDL. You have to remember this only. So it is very easy to remember. Now you can see there are 3 types of lipid metabolism. There are 3 types of lipid metabolism. Lipoprotein, lipid metabolism. So 3 types of lipoprotein metabolism. One is chylomicron, metabolism of chylomicron. I told you chylomicron. And second is metabolism of VLDL. And third is metabolism of HDL. So I have told you only 3 groups of lipoproteins are there. One is chylomicron, other is VLDL, other is HDL. So VLDL will convert into IDL, and IDL converts into what? Tell me. LDL. VLDL converts into IDL, IDL converts into LDL, and HDL, and metabolism of HDL. So HDL is different. HDL convert, there are 3 types of HDL. HDL 1, 2, and 3. 3 has the most protein content and 1 has less. Means 1 is most obese and 3 is muscular, the most muscular. So you can understand from these 3 types of. So we will talk about the lipoprotein metabolism of these 3 types of lipoprotein. So first is chylomicron. So chylomicron, you can see the metabolism. This is called exogenous. So whatever lipid we eat in our diet, those lipids will be transported through the body by this chylomicron lipoprotein. So whatever lipid we eat, that will be transported by this chylomicron. So lipid transport happens from intestine to, remember, intestine to liver. Lipid transport happens from intestine to liver. This chylomicron, this is called chylomicron. Exogenous lipoprotein metabolism, because dietary lipid is transported. That is why this is called exogenous lipoprotein. So you can see there are 6 steps. So you can easily remember this 6 steps through this mnemonics. As, MAD, as, U. So you can see this assembly is the first step, then as is secretion is the second step. After assembly there will be secretion. So then secretion, after maturation, then distribution, then this distribution, then apoprotein shedding, and then uptake. So remember from intestine, you can, I'll tell you, you can see. So first is what? Assembly. Just remember this. Remember this. First is what? Tell me. Assembly. Second is secretion. Third is maturation. As assembly, secretion, then maturation. And then fourth is distribution. Fifth is apoprotein shedding, and then uptake. Let's see this in this picture. This is intestine. You have eaten the food, and food is high in lipid. You just see the food has lipid. Lipid are there in food, and that food lipid will be digested like this. So this digested these are triglycerides. So this is glycerol, this is fatty acid. So triglyceride will be digested into this monoacyl glycerol and this fatty acid. So this will be absorbed here. Absorbed. And after absorption, now in enterocyte. So this I am teaching you absorption of fatty acid also. You can see this absorbed fatty acid. That fatty acid will be assembled. The first step is assembled, and that assembly occurs in where? Inside endoplasmic reticulum of enterocyte. Assembly is happening inside the endoplasmic reticulum here. And here inside endoplasmic reticulum, though I have shown here outside the endoplasmic reticulum, but inside the endoplasmic reticulum only, there is synthesis of B48. You know, because this B48 is protein. Protein is synthesized in endoplasmic reticulum. And this B48 is synthesized inside endoplasmic reticulum, and then this triglyceride is also assembled, and this triglyceride plus protein will form this chylomicron inside this endoplasmic reticulum. And this is very important protein. You can see MTTP protein, microsomal triglyceride transfer protein, will do this assembly. This is very important protein. So first step is assembly. After assembly, this whole lipoprotein chylomicron will be secreted into lymphatics, not in blood, lymphatics around intestine. And from that lymphatics, this innocent, this is called innocent chylomicron. This innocent chylomicron will go into blood. In blood, you will say this chylomicron will get some peripheral protein, and this peripheral protein will cause maturation of this. After it gets peripheral protein, now this chylomicron is called mature chylomicron. So we have seen assembly here inside enterocyte, now secretion as, and for maturation will be done by this peripheral protein. So peripheral protein, the source of all peripheral protein is high density lipoprotein, HDL. So HDL will give these two peripheral protein, ApoC2 and ApoE1, ApoC2 and ApoE1. Now after this nascent chylomicron gets this ApoC2 and ApoE, this gets matured. Now matured, this lipoprotein can be catabolized. So what is the catabolism of this lipoprotein? So lipoprotein, this lipoprotein will have to give this lipid, will have to distribute this lipid among the tissues, will have to distribute this lipid among the tissue. Assembly is first, I told you, then secretion. And after secretion, there is maturation. You know, maturation is because of acceptance of apoprotein, peripheral apoprotein. After maturation, now see, this can be catabolized easily, and this catabolism will happen through a very important lipase that is placed on that is bound to the endothelium here. This lipase is called lipoprotein lipase. What does this lipoprotein lipase do? So this lipoprotein lipase convert this triglyceride into what? Diacylglycerol plus fatty acid. And this lipoprotein that is bound to endothelium of capillary at the tissue site, this lipoprotein are called lipoprotein. This lipase is called lipoprotein lipase. This is called lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase. These are called lipoprotein lipase. Did you understand this? So this lipoprotein lipase will break this triglyceride into fatty acid and glycerol. Fatty acid, and this fatty acid and glycerol will be absorbed into the tissue, will be supplied to the tissue. Now after giving this fatty acid, so what will happen? This chylomicron will convert into chylomicron remnant. At the same time, chylomicron remnant, it will also shed one apoprotein C2. It will give this apoprotein C2 to HDL. Now this chylomicron remnant will be taken by this liver. Liver has a receptor called LRP, LDL receptor related protein, LRP. LDL receptor related protein, LDL receptor related protein. So this LRP will take this chylomicron and absorb, and now this chylomicron will be processed in liver. So this is the whole metabolism of chylomicron. So you can see this sixth step here, assembly. So assembly is done by very important protein, MTTP protein, microsomal triglyceride transfer protein. So this will do assembly of triglyceride on protein, and lipid assembly will be done by MTTP, and this is done in endoplasmic reticulum, ER. This is first step. And if this protein is absent, this is very important disorder. This protein, if it is absent, this will cause A-beta lipoproteinemia. This protein deficiency will lead to A-beta lipoproteinemia. Remember this. Now second step is secretion. Secretion is not that important step. We don't have to remember, though there is protein are involved, but this is not that important process. Third step is, for exam point of view, it is not important. For our body, it may be important. Now third step is maturation. So maturation happens by accepting this protein from HDL, apoprotein C2 and E from HDL. Now maturation means this protein becomes capable for self-metabolism, self-catabolism. So then after maturation, this lipoprotein will able to distribute lipid, and this distribution will be helped by this lipoprotein lipase. And lipoprotein lipase will be activated by this cofactor of this lipoprotein lipase is this C2 protein that this chylomicron got. Then apoprotein shedding, this C2 will be shedded, and this will convert into chylomicron remnant, and this chylomicron remnant will be taken up by this LRP in the liver. This is in the liver. So it starts from intestine. Remember, very important concept, intestine, and then ends to liver. So this is exogenous lipoprotein metabolism. It starts from chylomicron, starts from intestine and ends in liver. So this is very important disorders. A beta lipoproteinemia, apoprotein E deficiency will cause hypertriglyceridemia, type 3 hyperlipidemia, and lipoprotein lipase C2 complex deficiency. Either of this deficiency or mutation will cause type 1 chylomicronemia. So we will talk about this disorder separately in next class. Done. We have done chylomicron metabolism. Now we will do VLDL metabolism. You can see this VLDL metabolism. VLDL will convert into IDL and LDL. So VLDL, IDL, LDL metabolism together. And this is called endogenous lipoprotein metabolism, because this metabolism, this lipoprotein carries the lipid that are synthesized by liver. So metabolism happens from liver to liver. Liver, then peripheral tissue, then liver. Chylomicron metabolism was from intestine, peripheral tissue to liver. So this was the exogenous. That is why it is exogenous. The dietary lipid was carried here. Our own synthesized lipid will be distributed around the tissue. So liver to liver. This is endogenous lipoprotein metabolism. Endogenous lipoprotein metabolism is VLDL, LDL, IDL. Now you can see same step. There is no difference in steps. So you can see here AS, MD, AS, U, as mad as U. So assembly will be there. Assembly will be done by same protein, MTTP, and secretion. Then maturation is there. Maturation will be done by same set of protein. Then distribution. So lipoprotein lipase will be involved in distribution, and then apoprotein shedding will be there, and uptake will be there. So uptake will be done by here LDL receptor. LDL will be done by LDL receptor, and IDL will be uptaken by this LRP. These are the disorder. You can see A beta lipoprotein. Again, this deficiency will cause A beta lipoprotein. I have already told you. E deficiency will cause apoprotein E. Apoprotein E deficiency will cause type 3 hypertriglyceridemia. In such cases, hypertriglyceride will be very high. So E43, you can correlate with this. So lipoprotein lipase will relate to 1, 1, 1, 1. So type 1 this is high chylomicronemia. We will talk about this disorder. LDL receptor defect will cause type 2 familial hypercholesterolemia. Remember this 6 step. We can see this 6 steps. So first, what will happen after you eat? So what will happen? This whole metabolism is happening during fat condition. So after you eat, what will happen? There will be fatty acid synthesis. When you eat very high amount of glucose, there will be fatty acid synthesis, and at the same time there will be synthesis of what? Glycerol. And fatty acid on glycerol will combine. It will form triglyceride, and triglyceride plus protein will assemble, and this assembly is done by MTT protein. So first is assembly phase. Second, after assembly, it will be secreted as then MD. So M for maturation. So maturation again happens by accepting this peripheral protein from HDL, apoprotein C2 and E. Now after maturation, there will be distribution. Distribution will be done by lipoprotein lipase. So lipoprotein lipase will break this triglyceride, and it converts triglyceride into monoacyl glycerol and this fatty acid. So this fatty acid and glycerol will be absorbed by tissue. After its absorption, so this VLDL, mature VLDL, will shed some protein. It will shed ApoC2 and it will convert into IDL. If it shed ApoE2, it converts into IDL. This IDL can be absorbed directly by liver, or this IDL can also convert into LDL. by shedding more protein, ApoE1, and this LDL will be absorbed. Now what happens is this HDL will give cholesterol and take ApoE1 from IDL. So IDL do two-way exchange. Other way, you can see on one-way donation, giving back to apoprotein. Here you can see apoprotein is given and cholesterol is taken back. So 6 steps you can see here: assembly, secretion, maturation, distribution, shedding, and then uptake. You can see here. So this is how you can see VLDL is converting into IDL and IDL is converting into LDL. So this is the whole metabolism of this VLDL, LDL, and IDL. This is called exogenous path, endogenous pathway. This is called endogenous pathway because you can see liver to liver, and in exogenous pathway from intestine to liver. So remember these two differences: endogenous, exogenous pathway. Now let's talk about this HDL metabolism. HDL metabolism is also called reverse cholesterol transport. So what does reverse cholesterol transport means? So till now we have seen the lipid is being distributed to tissue. We have seen lipid is being distributed to tissue. But HDL will do opposite. It will collect the lipid, especially cholesterol. It collects the cholesterol. So function of HDL is reverse. It collects. HDL function like a garbage collector. It function like a garbage collector. HDL function like a garbage collector. You can see how it function like garbage collector. So this garbage collection is called reverse cholesterol transport. Now you can see this reverse cholesterol transport. Let's first talk about the HDL's function and significance. What is the function of HDL? So HDL has many protein than we think. It has more than 100 proteins, but we don't talk about all these proteins. But integral protein is ApoA1. Okay, ApoA1 is integral protein. What is the integral protein of B100? What is the integral protein of VLDL? Tell me. Integral protein of VLDL, integral protein of chylomicron. Can anybody tell me?
B100 for VLDL.
Good. And chylomicron?
B48.
Thank you. So B48 for chylomicron, B100 for VLDL. Now, so metabolism of all lipoprotein is dependent on HDL. We have seen this HDL has been donor for peripheral protein to this chylomicron as well as for VLDL. So this metabolism of all lipoprotein is dependent on HDL. So we have seen that. So this HDL is that is why HDL is very important. If HDL is not there, so metabolism of other protein will also be affected. Other lipoprotein, other two lipoprotein will not get matured. And if it's not get matured, catabolism will not happen. So you can see donor of apoprotein. We have seen C2 and what else? E. C2 and E will be donated by this. Reverse cholesterol transport. We will talk about this only. What is reverse cholesterol? We will explain this in very high detail. This is the main function of HDL. These two are the main function of HDL. Now you can see this HDL has antioxidant activity and anti-thrombotic activity, anti-inflammatory and carrier of microRNA. That is why HDL is called good lipoprotein. Okay, good lipoprotein. HDL is good lipoprotein. This is called HDL is good lipoprotein, very friendly lipoprotein. But VLDL, DL, and chylomicron, they are called VLDL. With VLDL, you can include LDL. So VLDL, LDL, chylomicron, they are called bad lipoprotein. Bad. So there is function, but it is not completely bad. Nothing is completely bad. Lipoprotein. Okay. So there is, our body has balance between these two. There is a balance between this HDL and LDL. So if HDL is very high, HDL becomes very high. So this lipoprotein becomes low. VLDL. LDL and chylomicron are low. But opposite, if this HDL is low, this bad lipid will become high. So body does balance between these two lipids. So they are completely opposite in concentration. So these are the function, antithrombotic, these are good functions are associated with lipoprotein. Now HDL, we do testing of HDL, the cholesterol that is present inside the HDL, the cholesterol that is present inside the HDL. The cholesterol that is present inside the HDL, we measure cholesterol, not as a whole HDL molecule, okay? We measure cholesterol in HDL molecule. Why? Because this cholesterol gives you very good clue than we imagine. Actually, this cholesterol, less cholesterol, if HDL has less cholesterol, that means the lipoprotein metabolism is not going well. If HDL has very high cholesterol, that means lipoprotein metabolism is going well, because this is a garbage collector. So garbage collection function is going very properly. If less cholesterol, that means garbage collection is not being done very nicely. And that is why this cholesterol, we measure the cholesterol inside HDL, and that is called HDL cholesterol. And this HDL cholesterol signifies it is a very important part of our laboratory test. So more cholesterol inside HDL suggests good health, means reverse cholesterol transport is efficient, and there is less TG loaded in HDL. So reverse cholesterol transport, garbage collection is happening very nicely. So you can see this context. Let's see about what are the players in HDL metabolism. So you can see this, there are three types of HDL as we have discussed. The density wise, you can see the HDL3 is very high density, means it has got very high content of protein. This is the muscularity, you can see muscularity. So muscularity is very high. So this has more protein, this is also called discoid HDL. HDL3 is called discoid HDL, this is called pre-beta. In blood, these two HDL are very high, HDL1 and HDL2. You can see HDL1, HDL2, HDL3, HDL. So that you have concept of this, all this HDL. HDL, ApoE, this is ApoE is only protein. This is discoid HDL, only phospholipid and protein. And this is protein plus phospholipid plus cholesterol. And this is very high. So you can imagine this HDL through the shape, through the size. HDL1 is largest and less protein. HDL2 is smaller than HDL1. HDL3 is the denser than HDL2 likewise. So you can see this two protein plays very important role in this HDL metabolism. As we have seen, one protein plays very important role, one enzyme plays very important role in both VLD and chylomicron metabolism, that is called lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase plays very important role in metabolism. Here you can see this two protein plays very important role in this metabolism. And in addition to this two protein, there are two transporters, this and this, two transporters. So two proteins, two enzymes like protein, and two transporter plays very important role. So you need to know about this. So you need to know about this SRB. What does this SRB means? Scavenger receptor B1. This is a scavenger receptor B1. This is scavenger receptor actually does to and fro transportation of this cholesterol. So this is, if this is a tissue site, so if cholesterol is low in tissue site, this scavenger receptor will take cholesterol from HDL molecule. If tissue has very high amount of cholesterol, it give this scavenger receptor give cholesterol from this tissue. So two-way transport of cholesterol will happen through this scavenger receptor. But there are second type of, through this scavenger receptor, or this is transporter B1. This is a second type of transporter. This is called ABC1. What it means? ATP, ABC means ATP binding cassette protein A1. So this ABC-A1 will only actually throw the cholesterol out of the cell. Only one function. It does only one function. It throws the cholesterol out of the cell. And this is the friend of this ABC-A1. This is not that important. This is important. These two are important. So you can see two transporter and two protein. You have to remember 2 transporter and 2 protein. So this only throws the cholesterol into the HDL, and this can do two-way transport. And this is also called LDL receptor. Sorry, HDL receptor. HDL receptor. This is HDL receptor. We will talk about this during metabolism. And this does only export. And this ABC are present in peripheral tissue. This is present in liver, another tissue. Now you can see. So what does this do? This do cholesterol acyl cholesterol. This is called cholesterol acyl. Cholesterol ester. Cholesterol ester transfer protein. CETP. This is called lecithin. C for cholesterol acyl transferase. What is the function of this lecithin? This is the lecithin. Lecithin means phospholipid. Lecithin is phospholipid. So it takes fatty acid from this phospholipid. Okay, it takes a fatty acid from this phospholipid, this unsaturated fatty acid, you can say, and this will transfer this fatty acid to cholesterol. So it takes fatty acid from lecithin, cholesterol acyl transferase. From lecithin to cholesterol, acyl means fatty acid transfer. So as name suggests, lecithin to cholesterol acyl transferase. Lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase. Now this cholesterol, you can see cholesterol will convert into cholesterol ester. This is called cholesterol ester. So this alkat converts this cholesterol. That cholesterol is taken up by this HDL from the tissue. This HDL takes cholesterol from the tissue, and this cholesterol will be packed into the HDL molecule by this enzyme, alkat enzyme. So alkat converts this cholesterol into cholesterol ester and facilitating it to go into the interior, because cholesterol ester is hydrophobic. So it can go into the, so that it will go into the interior of the HDL from the surface. And this is enzyme, this is transfer protein. This is not actually enzyme, but this is transfer protein. Cholesterol ester transport or transfer protein. Cholesterol ester transfer protein. Alkat means lecithin, cholesterol, this acyl transferase. This becomes cholesterol ester, and cholesterol ester is hydrophobic. It can be easily packed into the interior of the HDL. Where does this cholesterol come? Cholesterol comes from the tissue, because this HDL is a garbage collector. So it comes from tissue through which receptor? Peripheral tissue receptor, ATP binding cassette A1. So it comes here, and from here it will be packaged into the cell. So because this is a garbage, this is how garbage collection. So what is garbage here? Cholesterol is garbage. So garbage is collected like this. So this garbage goes on the surface, and this it will be transferred into cholesterol ester, and this cholesterol ester will be packed into this HDL molecule. So remember, this is not two-dimensional. This is a three-dimensional spherical structure. Now let's say this. So these are the, we have seen these 4 players, main players are there. Now in that players you can see ABC are present in the vascular endothelium, vascular endothelium macrophages, and endothelial layers. In endothelium, vascular endothelium, it is present. Now this is present SRB1. It is also called HDL receptor. So this is present where? In liver, adrenal gland, and gonads. Because these organs, they require cholesterol in very high quantity, and generally inside cell there is low cholesterol. That is why what will happen? This is SRB1. SRB1 is a two-way transporter. So because the concentration of cholesterol here is low, that is why from HDL to transport will happen from HDL to these cells, liver cells, adrenal and gonad cells. So remember this SRB1 mainly are distributed among this tissue and A, B, C are distributed among this tissue. So these are the difference between them. So there are two types of reverse cholesterol transport. Collection of garbage. There are two ways to collect garbage. So one, in the collection of garbage, it depends on direct pathway and indirect reverse cholesterol transport. It depends on the two different pathways. So what will happen? So it gives cholesterol acid transport protein. It gives this cholesterol to this HDL gives cholesterol ester to LDL, and this HDL takes this triglyceride from this LDL. This LDL takes cholesterol ester and gives triglyceride to HDL. So we will see this implication. Here, this CPT is involved in indirect cholesterol transport, indirect RCT, reverse cholesterol transport. And this ALCAT is involved in direct cholesterol, ALCAT and this. So we will see that. Now, let's see this. So you can imagine this whole process like a vehicle, vehicle that is collecting garbage, vehicle of municipality, collecting garbage every day. So it is collecting garbage and dumping it at some dumping site. So you can remember that with dumping site. So collecting garbage, dumping, again this vehicle go back to collect. So this cycle goes on. So this is a cycle that goes on. Now here you can see the reverse cholesterol transport is a cycle of collection and dumping. So what does this do? So collection of cholesterol will be done from the tissue side. Okay, from the tissue side. So collection will be done at the tissue side through this enzyme, ALCAT, lecithin cholesterol acetyltransferase. I told you how does this ALCAT function. Now this ALCAT protein will be involved, and through this ABC1 cholesterol will come out of the tissue, and ALCAT will load the cholesterol ester into the HDL. So after collection, dumping will be at the tissue side at HDL. So HDL receptor SRB1, they are both same. So this dumping will happen at the liver. So it will go and dump to the liver. The cholesterol ester will be dumped to the liver through this HDL receptor. Now, indirect cholesterol transport, this here in direct cholesterol transport, this HDL directly dump. But in indirect cholesterol transport, HDL dump cholesterol through LDL. So intermediate becomes LDL. So HDL gives cholesterol to LDL, and LDL will dump that cholesterol to liver. So this is the difference between indirect, direct, and indirect reverse cholesterol transport. So collection and dumping. Main difference is dumping. So collection is same for both, and dumping is different. Indirect is involved. Indirect cholesterol transport is done by reverse cholesterol transport is done by through LDL, and directly by HDL. We will see through the picture also. Now, what will be the fate? So if this vehicle is actually does work for several times, what will happen? The vehicle will actually may be damaged, may become damaged, or may become old, and that is how vehicle will have to be replaced. Or first there will be cycling. So as long as this vehicle is new, work in a good function, it will be recycled. This vehicle will be recycled. The same way you can see HDL molecule will be recycled. So first collection, then garbage. This cycle which goes on and on. So this cycle goes on for several steps, and after that there can be damage. Because of damage, so this will be dissociated, and A2 protein, the protein will be lost through the kidney, can be lost through the protein, and new HDL can also be synthesized after this HDL being taken up by liver. So this damaged vehicle will dump into the garage, and then new vehicle will come. Like that, the fate will happen to this HDL. So this is the most important concept, HDL cycle. The same vehicle goes and do the function repeatedly. You can see this HDL biogenesis is because of synthesis of this ApoA1, ApoA2. This HDL biogenesis happens in two tissues, both liver and intestine. Both liver and intestine. HDL synthesis happens both in liver and intestine. You can see this. So from intestine, you can see from intestine HDL will be synthesized, and from intestine HDL will be synthesized. From liver also HDL will be synthesized. Now HDL after being synthesized, so this is how what happens. So HDL2, it has more protein, less lipid, so it will carry lipid. Okay, it will collect garbage. So HDL2 will convert into HDL3. HDL3 again will give the garbage directly to liver. So this is a direct HDL pathway. If it gives the garbage directly, this is a direct pathway. This is a direct HDL pathway. The direct reverse cholesterol transport. Now, when the garbage is given through HDL, through CETP, so this HDL will give cholesterol to LDL, and LDL will give cholesterol, dump cholesterol to liver. This is indirect reverse cholesterol transport. Indirect reverse cholesterol transport. So did you understand direct cholesterol transport and indirect reverse cholesterol transport? Tell me. Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand this HDL cycle? The same vehicle dump and again come to collect the garbage. This cycle of vehicle is called HDL cycle. Conversion of HDL2 into HDL3 and HDL3 back to HDL2. This whole process is called HDL cycle. So HDL cycle goes on and on during this reverse cholesterol transport. And you can see this ABC1, the cholesterol comes from this tissue, endothelium, to this ABCA1. This ABCA1, this discoid will also get lipid from this through ABCA1. It will convert into HDL1. This is HDL1, and this is HDL2, and then HDL2 into 3, HDL2 into 3, 3 into 2. This process will be repeatedly go into the tissue. Now HDL2 is the indicator of good health. So more is the HDL2, that will indicate good health. So HDL, as HDL is a very good lipid, so HDL concentration you can measure, you can increase through this activity. Good diet, if you take a good diet, balanced diet with essential nutrients, and exercise will also increase HDL level. And normal rest, and actually if you take rest and if you take less stress, that less stress will also increase HDL level. And opposite also true. If you take fast food on balanced diet, then HDL become low. So if you don't do exercise, then also HDL become low. And if you don't take a proper rest, if you are too much stressed, then HDL becomes low. And this happens through transcription factor. Various transcription factors are there. Mainly two transcription factors are. We have done 3 lipoprotein metabolism. One is VLDL. This is called intrinsic pathway. Process is pathway from liver to liver. Liver, then peripheral tissue to liver. Liver to liver. And this is in peripheral tissue, which enzyme comes? Lipoprotein lipase. So this process happens in 6 steps, as mad as you. So as is assembly. As for secretion. And for maturation. As D for distribution. Distribution is held by lipoprotein lipase. And then what will happen? Apoprotein shedding. Shedding and uptake. So this process, 6 processes are common both for VLDL metabolism also for chylomicron metabolism. Chylomicron is called exogenous pathway. This is from intestine to peripheral tissue to liver, and that because dietary lipid will be absorbed through chylomicron and transported to the peripheral tissue, and it will end in the liver. The same 6 process will be involved. Only the difference will be at uptake and the site of origin. Assembly here happens in intestine, here in liver. So these are the basic difference between 2 pathways. Third pathway is opposite pathway, HDL metabolism. So HDL metabolism is described by reverse cholesterol transport. It is nothing but collection and dumping process. Collection and dumping. So it is a cycle of collection and dumping. In that cycle, HDL will convert into HDL2 and HDL3. This is called HDL cycle. So did you all understand? This is the summary. Did you all understand lipoprotein metabolism?